taking three.
Going for the St. Louis now.
Oh no!
Son of a bitch.
You get your two?
Yeah. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course, and today we are going to take a look at a replay of the Tirpitz. Now, this is obviously a learning from our mistakes episode, so things go a little wrong in this game, but it was so close at the end, so close. Anyway, in the Tirpitz and spawn near the west side, so that's where I'm going to be going. Figure this was the place where I'm going to have the best chance of doing a lot of damage, because there's going to be a lot of enemy ships who are going to come over here to A as well, but do a lot of damage and hopefully take down some enemy ships and help my team cap A, because obviously we're going to take the southern point here, C, we'll cap A, and then hold those 2 points and then sort of adjust from there, right? That is the general strategy that I follow on Two Brothers like this. It just the way the battle seems to work out. Now, my team, you do notice here at the beginning that the dispersion of the team does kind of look good, right? It does actually look decent, because half of the enemy team, half of my team is headed to the west and the other half is headed to the east. So right away I'm thinking, yeah, this is pretty good. In the Tirpitz, obviously, now I do really enjoy this Tirpitz. It's a great battleship, and I was just loving what was going on in this part of the battle right now. I know there's not a whole lot going on, but in my mind, you see, I was going on, replaying the old Tirpitz battle there in my mind. But anyway, just sort of glorifying the Tirpitz here in my mind as I'm getting myself into position, right? And I do start to see some enemy ships popping up. A lot of those enemy ships that popped up, though, they were over there on the east, so it's fairly obvious that they're going to head over there. Now, we do see some torpedo bombers, so immediately I was fairly concerned, because I didn't want to get torpedoed right away. Not like most battleships or some battleships happen, especially in the later tiers where you have much more powerful aircraft carriers. It's something you really want to watch out for. So I'm immediately taking evasive maneuvers, right? I've got the torpedo bombers targeted. I'm trying to keep them on my bow, because if I can keep them on my bow, then I won't have to worry about a torpedo broadside coming in. Now, at the same time, I do have some enemy ships popping up as well, so no reason why I cannot take a shot off at them. Luckily, my friendly aircraft carrier was all over those enemy torpedo bombers, and my AA as well. I shot down, I think, one plane, and then the friendly fighter squadron took down the rest. So kudos to you, aircraft carrier captain. You did a great job there. But again, we do still have enemies off in the distance. So we do see 2 Warships off in the distance. Now, being a Tirpitz at tier 8 and the Warspite being at tier 6, I wasn't too concerned about the Warships. You can see I'm not even targeting them right away. I caught a glimpse of the enemy aircraft carrier. I wanted to take a few shots off at him, see if I can't get a citadel hit or maybe something better on him as well. Take him down, do a detonation, who knows. Unfortunately, those shots, they don't hit anything at all. So we're going to start lining up on the Warships now, because the Warships do have to get close enough to be able to fire their guns, because it does have a what is the range on the Warspite? I want to say 15 kilometers, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't actually have a Warspite. But, it's less than what my Tirpitz can do here. Unfortunately for me, I wasn't going to turn back and open up the distance between these guys. I do see the North Carolina in the background, but what I was more concerned about is my friendly cruisers in and around me, right? We can see the Atlanta, who's just passing on the starboard side now. He's sort of been taking a lot of hits here and a lot of the flak from these enemy battleships, so I'm going to try and get myself into position to absorb some of the shots, because I'm on full health. My Tirpitz can definitely take some hits without being too badly mauled. So yeah, why not come in here and save my cruisers, because I'm going to need these cruisers. Sure, the enemy destroyer that is in the battle is already dead, but the cruisers are still going to be really critical in helping take down some of these enemy ships, just especially with the Atlantas, setting the enemy ships on fire and getting that damage over time while I'm reloading. So we do see one of the enemy Warships is about to die. I've got shots going in, but one of my allies finishes him off, so that is excellent. So the enemy Warspite is gone. We have one more Warspite remaining, and the enemy North Carolina in the background. My team, in the meantime, we have taken A, and I'm noticing this, and it's sort of at this point in time where I'm thinking, do I want to go back to our base and defend against any possible enemy advance from the east, or do I want to continue to push with my team and hopefully get to the northern point? And I decide, you can see I'm turning around now, that I do actually want to continue to the north. I'm thinking that that's probably the best thing that I could do to support my team right now, because we're doing pretty well right here on the west, and we have quite a few ships here. Now, one thing I didn't notice in all of this was that my allies who went to the east side of the map basically have either died or ran away and come over here to the west. So the east is entirely open right now. And it's only sort of computing now in my mind, because I'm really focused on North Carolina. I want to try and get this guy gone. I still have the thought in my head of actually going to the north and helping out the north. I don't actually see any enemy ships over there on the east, so that's, lulls me into this false sense of, I have time. I can continue going forward. But you can see, my allies did ping the map there, and it is going to become an issue for us. There's an enemy ship that popped up now, so we are actually going to have to start addressing the southern point. I figured with the amount of allies that I have over here on the west, that they would be able to continue the fight to the north, take that northern point. In the meantime, I, as a battleship, can get myself back into the southern point here, C, and defend this point for as long as possible. I don't actually expect to survive this engagement, because it's sort of, last-ditch stand here, but what I was hoping was that my team would carry forward, continue the northern push, right? It's one thing to have your some ships turn back and provide a defense, right? It's great when that happens. It sucks when no one does turn back. But it is almost as useless when everyone turns back and does a defense this early in the game, because we want to have a good support, a good support for our offense to continue the push to a northern, in this case, the northern point, and take that third point. Not only will it give us the lead in caps, for however long we can hold it, but it is also going to afford us a bit of comfort room and a bit of cushion, because then we can give up the southern point, still have cap parity, and get ourselves into another position to form another defensive line. That would be the benefit of keeping the allied ships going towards the north. The enemy, unfortunately, recognizes this. Yeah, there are enemy ships up there in the northern point defending it. You can see right now that I have a number of Thotgors that I'm trying to fire at, right? And my aim is terrible. Now this is, a lesson that I need to learn here. It is a mistake that I'm making, but it's something that I'm doing on my own. It's not something that, the team has any bearing on. But because I'm making this mistake, these mistakes, and because the team has decided to group up the way that they did, and you can see where our ships are dispersed now, right? I really can't afford to be missing these shots. I need to take down these enemy cruisers really quickly, and I'm just not doing it. I do have a lot of support with me. A lot of support, right? We can see we still have my Atlanta friend. I've got my North Carolina here with me as well, so that's pretty good. Now behind us, when we don't see them, is another allied battleship and another allied cruiser who's helping us out as well, so that is great. Now in the north, my team up there in the north, right, you can see that the destroyers are definitely pushing into the northern point, and that is fantastic. The enemies do have ships up there in the north, so the destroyers are obviously going to need some sort of support. In support behind them, they have a cruiser, so that is also good. The problem is, our second cruiser that should be supporting the point, the capture of that northern point, has decided to take it upon him or herself to drive to the north of the map, engage an enemy battleship or an enemy ship that has taken himself out of position, and potentially also, I suspect, try and hunt down an enemy aircraft carrier. This is not something that you want to do this early on in the battle, right? Not much time has passed. Maybe we're at about the halfway mark, a little more of the halfway mark right now, right? It's not time to fight aircraft carriers, especially given this situation that we have going on here. Now, sure, it all looks rosy and great right now. We just capped that northern point. Fantastic. The problem is the southern point, right? We are going to lose this southern point. We're not going to be able to put up any sort of defense here, and in fact we've lost a lot of the ships, at least 3 of the ships that were helping us out in the defense. Again, my aim is still terrible, which is my own fault in this situation here. I'm kind of freaked out at the moment. The glory days of me reliving the Tirpitz glory days in my mind at the beginning of the battle have long passed, and now it's sort of reality is setting in here, right? We don't have a lot going on. So I see my allied Colorado, right? This enemy Cleveland comes out, and I figure no big deal, we're going to get this guy gone really quick. So I see my ally Colorado there, right? And I figure that I am going to push with this Colorado, that this Colorado knows what's going on, and at the very least this guy is trying to get himself into a position to just close the distance on the enemies and take the point. So great, I'm going to do this as well. I don't have much hit points remaining. I figure the closer I get, the better my aim should get as well. There are some enemy battleships in the distance, right? Specifically this Nagato. Now all sorts of crazy things are running through my mind right now at this point in time in the battle. But the one thing that sort of is resounding through, kind of echoing through here, is I'm going to die. I'm going to have to take someone with me. Ramming speed for the Cleveland. So that's what I'm going to try and do. Now this again is another mistake that I'm making, right? We've talked about it, I've talked about it a lot on the channel about never giving up, always trying, always fighting. You could make the argument, I guess, that by wanting to ram the Cleveland, I'm not giving up, I'm trying to take someone out with me as I go. You could make the argument, I'm not going to accept it though, because I know my own motives behind it. Basically what I had done is given up. I've basically given up, analyzed the situation, nope, I'm going to die, nothing I can do, may as well not try, ramming speed for the Cleveland. And there we go, and I just went straight in. Now, I was there supporting my Colorado, obviously, right? And during all of this, we did actually manage to prevent the capture of this southern point. The defense of the southern point is still going on, and we still have some ally ships in a good position to be able to defend it. So there's that. Which isn't too bad, right? And it's at this point in time where we're doing pretty good in the points here as well. So if we can just keep this up, we might actually be able to win it. The biggest thing here, though, is positioning. Positioning, the position of myself when I was alive, and the positioning of my allies. That is what is going to seal the fate of this game for us, and that is what we need to sort of, one of the biggest takeaways for you guys from this game. Now, obviously, I have my own, right? Learn how to fucking aim, Thotgor type thing, but is positioning of your ships, right? My ships right now, my remaining allies, we do have 4 remaining vessels with 2 aircraft carriers. So the 4 remaining vessels we have are fairly split up, right? We have 1 battleship way down in the south who just got attacked by torpedo bombers. So that battleship's probably not in a good way. We have our aircraft carriers who are on the west side of the map, and we have an allied cruiser, I believe, with the aircraft carriers. Now this is a crappy spot for that cruiser to be. The cruiser is, providing AA support, sure, but you're providing AA support while the enemy aircraft carriers pick off our remaining ships one by one, and then, eventually we'll just come and destroy the aircraft carriers. So not a good play by that cruiser player. We have this destroyer. Now this destroyer that we're looking at now, not a whole lot wrong with what this guy or this player is doing, because this player went in, took the 3rd cap, which is giving us a lead in points, by the way, that we're steadily increasing here, so victory does look good, and is trying to take out the enemy aircraft carrier, right? So there's nothing wrong with what this destroyer is doing. The only thing that maybe could have suggested, which I didn't at the time, obviously, I'm not going to tell people how to play the game when they're actually playing the game, but just a suggestion would have been, the allied cruiser we have to the south of this friendly destroyer, maybe just holding off a bit here and actually waiting for the cruiser to come into play before we take out the enemy aircraft carrier. That might have been a better call for this Benson to make, because, or is it a Benson? Yes, because you can see, just got overwhelmed, right? Enemy torpedo bombers came in, we have an enemy cruiser who was firing at him, so enemy Benson's gone. But the Benson did really great, at least cap the point. Come over to our friendly Nagato here. Now this is the battleship that basically took himself out of play, so we're not going to stick around and just watch that person sail in a straight line. We come over to this player, NIP, I believe. Sorry if I can't quite remember, but in the New Orleans. Now the New Orleans, I know that my opinion of American cruisers isn't very great, but that is changing actually. I have been playing my New Orleans a lot more, and we'll talk about that in some upcoming videos. But this guy in the New Orleans, great potential to do a whole lot, and this player does, in fact. I mean, look at the planes that are attacking this New Orleans right now, and the New Orleans is just demolishing them all down. Now, obviously, New Orleans has great AA. You couple that with the defensive fire ability, and I mean, if this player has any special AA mount on the ship as well, right? Just doing extra damage. So great potential here to do damage. Now we do see the enemy aircraft carrier, so we're going to start engaging this enemy aircraft carrier. Try and get this guy gone. That would be great. Give us a greater lead. In points, at this point in time, my team just made over 900 points, and the enemies are just below the 800 point mark. Now, the enemies, in the meantime, have continued to their push, right? They basically just went in a circle around the map, but they've taken the southern point. They're now capping the western point. Now, the western point is where we have the aircraft carrier, so this is not good. Luckily, though, the cruiser, who was kind of... well, no, the cruiser's dead now, yeah, so it's just the aircraft carriers. The cruiser, who was alive for a little while, and actually did help out my allied aircraft carriers, but obviously that didn't last very long. But we can see that this cruiser, you know, just about to take out or finish off this enemy aircraft carrier. So that's great. That's going to give us some more points. The battleship. I know. And he just died too. Died alone in the corner of the map, like so many other battleships do, right? It's terrible. So 938 points now. We are almost at victory, right? I was convinced that this was going to be a victory for us. As long as no other ships of ours die, we will have a victory. Now keep in mind, this is a learning from our mistakes video, so we've already discussed the importance of positioning. We're about to see the importance of positioning, right? Specifically with the enemy, or with my ally aircraft carriers. Now it doesn't matter that these are aircraft carriers, they could have been any type of ship. Well, no, I guess it does matter that it's aircraft carriers, yeah. Sorry, it matters that they're aircraft carriers. So, you're in an aircraft carrier. You can clearly see that the enemy is pushing towards your position, and yet you decide to stick around. Stick around, even after you notice that allied ships around you are slowly sinking. There's no one left to defend you. All you have are your aircraft, and yet continue to be on that side. There's not even any other, I mean, I know there's only 3 ships remaining, but there weren't even any other allied vessels on that side except the battleship, and what are you going to do for that battleship down there, right? That battleship made his own choice and decided to, you know, just throw life away. Whatever. But positioning, it's just so critical. I mean, if those aircraft carriers would have been in a better position, would have analyzed the situation a little more, and made their run sooner to the northern edge of the map, we would have been able to take this. It would have been really close, but we would have been able to do it. So 983 points. It's going pretty well. We can see people in the chat are, I can't believe we won this. I was thinking in my head, like, good fucking game, man. Like, this is a great game. I'm going to switch over to the aircraft carriers because I want to see. Oh no. Oh no. The allied aircraft carriers are sitting, literally sitting behind this island. Now, I understand that they're behind the island to prevent shots from coming in and all that lovely stuff, but look how well it's working for them. Yeah, we lose. We lost the ship. The points were so close. We lose. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it when the defeat flashed up here. Speechless I was. Now again, I made my own mistakes. That's clear. We saw the mistakes. But you can also really clearly see the importance of positioning, right? Especially when you're choosing, what am I going to attack, where am I going to go, all of that lovely stuff. It's all going to come back in the end game. If you survive that long, it'll come back to the end game to bite you in the ass, and you're going to see the mistakes that maybe you didn't make, but definitely that some of your team members made. So that kind of sucks. But anyway, hopefully we can see it and learn from it. Anyway, folks, that is today's video. I do hope you enjoy it. You know, as always, leave any comments you have for me in the video comment section below. Love reading those and responding back to them. Hit the old like button if you did like today's video. Hit subscribe if you were not a subscriber. And as always, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.